Welcome back to Flavour Text, as we are about to play through the next scenario on the Circle Undone campaign. We're about to do scenario 4, The Wages of Sin. If you've not seen these before, this is us basically just playing through the scenario as preparation before we actually record the podcast proper. I am joined by my co-host, and I don't have a pre-prepared term to refer to him as. I'm not as prepared as he is. Yeah, my perspicacious co-host. I don't even know what that means. Yeah, CrabbyTerror8. How are you, mate?
Yes, I'm very perspicacious today. Thank you, mate.
Oh dear. So yes, we're on The Wages of Sin, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
So
We certainly are.
yeah,
It's all set up here in Octagon, or at least it's nearly set up.
yeah.
Sort of set up.
Let's have a look at the campaign guide then, and we'll go through the blurb and the setup. Right, ever since your encounter with the ghost in the witch house, you have been forced to reconsider everything you know about life and death. Keziah Mason died over 200 years ago, but her spirit remains in the spectral mist, the same mist you encountered in Joseph Micah's manor. One question lingers in your mind as you consider the events that have transpired. Does Keziah's spirit linger because of the mist, or is the mist caused by her presence, which is the disease and which is the symptom? The more you delve into Arkham's history of witchcraft and persecution, the more restless you become. Night after night you are assaulted by terrible dreams, dreams of death and decay, of guilt and sin. There is an evil that dwells in this city, an evil that has long remained hidden in the darkness of Arkham's past. What's worse, your inquiry has reached an impasse. You believe that if you can find the coven of witches you saw in the woods that fateful night, you might be able to learn more about Keziah Mason, or of this unspoken evil. As you go through your morning routine, your eyes drift across one of the smaller headlines of today's newspaper. Ghost sightings on Hangman's Hill. Residents of Uptown claim to have seen human shapes in the thick fog emanating from Hangman's Brook. That couldn't be a coincidence, could it? Then the realization dawns on you. If it is the witches you seek, the only place you can be certain to find them is 6 feet underground, in the place where the professed witches were executed all those years ago. Searching for spectres in a graveyard may not be your safest bet, but you're not sure one can stay safe in this city anymore. I'm not quite sure about that logical leap there. The only place we can find the witches is in their graves.
I know, this is the thing I remember about this campaign, is there's too many leaps of logic. It's like, there we go.
We've just encountered witches in the mist around places that they lived, but no, they must be in their graves. That's the only place we can find them. Yeah.
Of course. Yes.
Okay, so setup then. We gather cards from all of these encounter sets. We put the Watcher out of play.
There is some errata, apparently.
Ah, okay.
Death's approach in pursuit of the dead and unfinished business have all been errated. Okay.
Are they treacheries?
Maybe. Let's have a look.
They don't sound like location names.
Death's approach in pursuit of the dead and unfinished business. No, not so far. No, so they're not in the... They must be in the other one, in the sort of, backup deck that's not used at the...
Ah, okay.
There we go. No, they're not in that either. So I'm really confused. Oh, there's another one. Oh, wow, there's 2 decks.
Okay. Oh, yes, 2 separate encounter decks. So all of the locations, there's a pair of each of them, it looks like. And so we do a random choice of the 2 heretics' graves, 2 chapel attics, 2 chapel crypts. Right, so it's just those 3. So I have got pairs of locations.
It's not those either. That's weird. Is there another? That's all of them. Is it? Oh, it's on the act. In Pursuit of the Dead, Act 1A. This card's ability should read, locations cannot be flipped to their spectral side. And so, okay, so it's on the...
Oh, right. So when it says locations cannot be flipped over, it just means they can't be flipped to spectral.
Yeah, so it's on those three. The Death's Approach is Agenda 2A. In Pursuit of the Dead is 1A. And Unfinished Business... I don't know where Unfinished Business is. Okay. Well, if we find an Unfinished Business, and we know it's that one, but it's none of these. Maybe it's on the other side of one of them. That's possible. Okay, sorry. Okay.
So I've just moved over the 4. It seems to be that there's 4 pairs: Heretic's Graves, Chapel Attic, Chapel Crypt, and the Gallows.
Randomly choose one of the 2 gallows, one of the 2 heretics' graves, one of the chapel, and one of the 2 crypt. Yeah, put them into play and remove the other versions.
And my PDF has just resized itself, so now it doesn't. There we go. Right. Yeah, 2 gallows, 2 heretic graves, 2 chapel attics, 2 chapel crypts. So it was 4, not 3. I misread earlier. And then in terms of the layout, it's Hangman's Brook at the bottom.
Yeah. Haunted Fields.
Heretic's Graves at the left.
Oh, I see. Oh, it's much bigger than I thought. Yeah, there we go.
Gallows at the top. Chapel Crypt on the right. And then
Gallows on the left, and then Haunted Fields underneath, and Heretic's Graves next to it. Yep.
There we go. So we just need to do that random selection of each pair then.
Okay, if you right click, there's a random option with a coin flip.
Okay. Oh, I've managed to put those 2 together into a pile. I guess I'll just shuffle when I've done, for the one I've done that. Forgotten how to shuffle. I'm thinking of Tabletop Simulator.
You just got to do a coin flip and say I keep heads or I keep tails, whichever. Or I discard head or I discard tails.
I'm just trying to work out how to split it back out into 2 separate cards again.
Which 2 are you?
The Hangman's Brook at the bottom. I've got it as a set of 2 now, I think, that are linked together.
No, there's just one there, I think.
What have I done with the other one then?
I don't know. Was there 2 Hangman Brook things?
No, that's why I can't see the second card, because there isn't one.
There was. It's the ones where you've got the 2.
Have I ever played this game before? Right. Okay. So let's do a coin. We'll say heads is the left. Heads would keep the left one. Tails would keep the right one.
Yep.
Random coin flip. That was tails, so we keep the right one of that one and we discard that. Then we do the top one. What to say, heads is the left, and that was tails again.
Yep.
Heads this time, so we keep the left one. And last of all, heads again. Okay. That didn't feel very random. The two on the left being tails and the two on the right being heads, but never mind.
And what's connected to what? Because it looks like the chapel and the haunted fields are connected, but the gallows is not connected to the chapel attic, I don't think. If I'm reading this right, is that right?
The chapel attic is connected to plus and... Yeah, so I think the threes on either side are connected, all connected to each other. As in like two triangles. Do you know what I mean? You mean the bottom three are connected? So they're all connected together? Is that what you mean? Or? I mean like the three on the left and the three on the right, they look like an L shape. So like these, the three, if I move them closer together, those threes are connected to each other. There's like a triangle, I think.
Ah, yes, I see. And also the Hangman's Brook, Haunted Fields and Random Chapel, I think, are connected to each other as well.
Yeah, so it's sort of, they're sort of connected diagonally.
Yes, yes.
And then these three are all connected to each other.
Yes, that makes sense.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, so you can't go from the attic over to the gallows. They're not connected in any way. Yes, I see. It's sort of a triangle within a triangle kind of thing. Yeah, that makes sense.
Although, I guess the abandoned chapel seems to be connected to four things, unless there's a... So the squiggle is the Hangman's Brook. Oh, right, the haunted fields and the chapel are connected to each other.
Yes.
So those three. So it's like those. Connected. Those three are connected.
Yes, that's right.
And then it's sort of another triangle off.
Yes.
Then correct, sort of thing.
Yes. Exactly.
Sort of like that.
Yes, exactly. So you've got the sort of middle triangle, everything's connected, and then you've got two sub-triangles with the haunted fields and connected to the gallows and the heretic's grave, and the abandoned chapel connected to the attic and the crypt. And I guess we probably start at Hangman's Brook. I'm wagering.
So, yeah.
Resign. Whose bright idea was this anyway?
So, yeah, investigators... the locations have all got two sides. One side spectral, one side not. The cards should all have gone out on their non-spectral sides, which I think is correct.
Yep. They very kindly put them out like that, so that was nice.
Nice. We set the 4 spectral web assets aside out of play.
Yep, they're all in the various piles.
We shuffle the 6 heretic enemies and set 4 of them aside at random. And we move the other 2 from the game. These are all story cards on the back.
Oh, so we need heretic enemies, do we?
Yeah, there's 6 heretic enemies and 4 of them are set aside at random and the other 2 are removed.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'm just going to do a random number 6 to see which ones get removed. So number 6 gets removed. And then we will do that again with 5. And number 5 gets removed. Okay, there we go. That was easy. So those 2 are removed and the rest are ready to go in the deck. Yeah,
they're just set aside out of play, it says. Well, it just says set aside, it doesn't say out of play, but there you go. This scenario utilizes 2 encounter decks. Separate each of the remaining cards with the spectral trait and shuffle them together to build the spectral encounter deck. And then the non-spectral ones are the standard encounter deck. But I'm guessing
so there is 2 encounter decks. One's oh no, there's 24 in one, which I think is just the standard one. And then there's another 20. Are these the spectral ones or something? Yeah, these all say spectral.
Right, see spectral encounter deck below, but then there is no spectral encounter deck below. Is it on the next page? Yes, it is.
It's in the global. If you go into the global, and you'll notice we've got a spectral encounter deck to click on.
Yeah. So during the setup,
So-
we're instructed to construct a standard and a spectral encounter deck. Whenever you are instructed to interact with the encounter deck, you would use the standard one. However, at a certain point during the scenario, locations may flip over to the spectral side. So if you're on a spectral location, then you use the spectral encounter deck, unless otherwise noted. This includes drawing the cards from the encounter deck, searching, looking, revealing, or otherwise interacting with the encounter deck or discard pile in any way. This includes abilities that trigger when the encounter deck runs out of cards. If an effect specifically refers to the standard encounter deck or the spectral encounter deck, it interacts with the specified deck regardless of the location. So basically, if it just says encounter deck, it's whichever one matches the location you're at, unless it says otherwise. Each of the two encounter decks have their own discard pile. Whenever a card with the spectral trait would be discarded, it is placed in the discard pile for the spectral encounter deck. All other encounter deck cards are in the discard pile for the standard encounter deck. And note, flipping a location from one side to another does not reveal the new location. Okay.
Okay.
So there we go. That is the setup.
Okay. So 2 encounter decks.
2 encounter decks and what's that? 7 locations to explore. I suppose we could have a look at the agenda and the act just to get a feel for what we're up against. Agenda 1A, the Hanged Man. 12, surrender yourself to the path of sacrifice. Consider the good of all before you act. Let go. So that's 8, threshold.
In the act, 1A is in pursuit of the dead. You have come to Hangman's Hill to investigate reports of ghost sightings and strange activity in the woods the last few nights, and to learn more about the witches who once hid in Arkham's past. Witches who have since emerged from the shadows in pursuit of some unholy purpose. Locations cannot be flipped over, but the errata says, for in pursuit of the dead, this card should say, locations cannot be flipped over to their spectral side. Yeah, I'm not sure why that's needed to know, but anyway, that's... Yep.
Locations cannot, yeah. I guess we'll find out.
Yep.
And then just looking at the agenda, the scenario card, just to see what we're up against. The skull is -X. X is 1 higher than the number of copies of unfinished business in the victory display.
Right.
I don't know what unfinished business is. Maybe that's something in the encounter deck.
Yep.
Cultist is -3 until the end of the round. Each heretic enemy in play gets +1 fight and +1 evade. And so yeah, this is more of the let's just throw lots of things in for you to try and keep track of and fail.
I don't think we have any cultists in our deck. I don't think.
I think you might be right.
Skulls.
Yeah.
We've got elder things.
Okay. So we don't need to worry about tablets either then. So that tablets would have been -3 if you failed. Trigger the forced ability on a copy of unfinished business in your threat area as if it were the end of the round. And the elder thing is -2. But if you fail and it's an attack or evasion attempt, you resolve each haunted ability on your location. So there we go. So that is the setup done. This was a nice short stream. Not that it's a stream, but I will upload it to YouTube or whatever. Okay, so shall we leave it there and then pick this up next week to actually play?
Sounds good.
Yeah. So yeah, just for info, we had a few technical issues, which mean we kind of run out of time this morning or this morning UK time to get the scenario played. So we've done the setup, and so we're good to go next time.
Save table state. Here we go. Wages of Sin.
Excellent.
There we go. It's saved. So it's all ready to roll.
Fantastic.
Great.
Okay. So yeah, that was short and sweet, wasn't it? 19 minutes. 19 and a half minutes. So yeah, we'll come back next week and join us as we fumble our way through the Wages of Sin.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.